Happy Yom Yerushalayim, Nusach Ha'ari, B'nai Zion, all of St. Louis, Kol Yehudi, Kol Olam, because this is a day that should be celebrated the world over, not just by Jews, but by everyone. I know, everyone celebrates the fall of the Berlin Wall, but guess what? This is the reunification, not of a capital of another nation. This is the unification of the holy city for three monotheistic faiths and the world at large. Where to begin? Let's begin where it all starts, with Avraham. Avraham comes here. Where's here? Here, mamish, right where I'm at. I'm at the Tayelet, the southern edge of the city. I just want you to imagine. Abraham gets his nevuah, his prophecy. He's supposed to go to Mount Moriah, which is just over there. You might not be able to see it, but the Golden Dome, the Dome of the Rock, the place the temple stood, is mamish right over there. 800 years later, that finally we will establish Jerusalem as our physical capital to go along with the fact that this is our eternal spiritual capital. And David HaMelech will get his nevuah, his prophecy, and with his help of his prophets, and he'll come to that realization that Jerusalem is the place in order to build, at first an altar, but eventually his son Shlomo will build the temple to make manifest Hashem's glory in this world. The first temple is going to stand just over there. It's going to stand for 400 some odd years until it's destroyed, unfortunately, by Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonians. We're in exile 70 years. We come back. Nehemiah, Ezra, the Jewish people, not everyone, but those that felt that they could put away their attachment to Babylonian society and say, no, this isn't mine, but this is Eretz Yisrael, Yerushalayim. This is mine. They'll come back. They'll build the second temple. You got the story of Hanukkah and then King Herod, who's going to build, 2.2, and the temple that we know. And then it's destroyed. And it's destroyed by the Romans. They destroyed a house of peace. We called it Beit Shalom. They destroyed a house of prayer for whom? Not just us, for all nations. God is for everyone. Hashem loves his entire creation. It's for everyone. They'll destroy that. And how many of you standing there in St. Louis have been to Rome before you came to Israel? So many Jews around the world, they go to Rome before they come to Israel to look at the Colosseum, a place that glorified what? Death. Jerusalem glorifies peace, shalom, shalem, wholeness. And for the next 2,000 years, the land of Israel will be oppressed by foreign empires, never independently ruled, always controlled by these vast foreign empires. In fact, the land of Israel, the city of Jerusalem, has only been independent and self-governed by the Jewish people in all of history. 2,000 years, we're oppressed until finally Jews from around the world begin to return to the land of Israel. And we finally are able to throw off the yoke of foreign oppression and liberate our land and liberate ourselves through it. And this will begin the movement of mass aliyah, the returning of the Jewish people to our ancestral homeland. In the middle of the 19th century, Jews from all walks of life, Hasidim, Litvaks, followers of the Vilna Gaon, are returning to the land of Israel. What was it about the 19th century that allowed these Jews to finally fulfill the dreams of their forefathers for the last 2,000 years? Well, the answer is simple. It was the advent of the steam-powered engine. Finally, they could travel to Israel relatively quickly. Well, once they got here, they said to themselves, how could I possibly leave? I've been praying 3 times a day to rebuild Yerushalayim. And now I have the opportunity. They tore up their return tickets and they made Aliyah. As a result, the old city is going to become overcrowded. And for the first time, we are going to construct homes outside of the old city, beginning with Mishkanot Shananim, Yamim Moshe, where I'm at right now. However, the most famous of these neighborhoods will be constructed in 1878. It's the 5th neighborhood outside the old city, and that's the city, or rather the neighborhood, of Meir Sha'arim. Let's now head into the old city. The gate that we're going to enter into the old city is Zion Gate. It's one of the gates that the IDF entered the old city in 1967. And the first thing that I'm sure you notice is just above the arch is you see all of these potch marks, these bullet hole marks that were a result not necessarily of the battles from 1967, but really from the fighting, the skirmishes, if you will, that took place here between 1948 and 1967 during the 19 years that Jordan occupied the old city. Now, one of the interesting things that Israel did after liberating the city is obviously putting up mezuzot on its gates. In fact, this is probably the only city I know of in the entire world that is actually fulfilling that mitzvah that we always say in the Shema, that we should place mezuzot upon the gates of our city. So not only did they do that, but here at Zion Gate, they actually took out all of the lead, all of the metal from the bullets, from the potch marks inside the wall. And here you can kind of see a lot better these potch marks. And what they did was they melted it down and they built the mezuzahs that adorned the gate here in Zion Gate. So let's go into the city. We're now in the Jewish quarter, the Rova, with the Horva synagogue behind me, which was originally built by followers of Yehuda HaChassid. Maybe some of you know who he was, in the 1700s. However, the building we see today is an exact reconstruction of the one that was built here in the 19th century by followers of the Vilna Gaon during that great Aliyah that we spoke about in Mishkanot Shananim. However, the synagogue built by them, as well as the entire Jewish quarter, would be destroyed in 1948. And the few buildings that survived those battles would be destroyed during the 19 years of Jordanian occupation. It wouldn't be until 1967 that we rebuilt the Jewish quarter, which is why the Jewish quarter today looks so much newer than the rest of the old city. And then, in 1967, during the Six-Day War, after dealing with the threat from the south, the Egyptians, were able to focus our attention to the central part of Israel. After the Jordanians had initiated an attack on Jerusalem, we were able to not only defend ourselves, but to retaliate on the offensive. And we entered into this old city of Jerusalem through the Iron Gate and through Zion Gate. And we were able to liberate our holy city and once again return to the Western Wall, to the Kotel, and continue our effort in the ultimate redemption, which will see us rebuilding the Beit HaMikdash, and please God, see the coming of the Messiah, Mashiach, in our days. No trip to Jerusalem would be complete without touching the stones of the Western Wall. So come join me now as we approach this holy place. Let me once again say thank you to all of you for listening to this presentation today on Yom Yerushalayim. Thank you to all the congregants of Ha'ari, Nusach, B'nai, Tzion, and to all of St. Louis. I offer up a prayer to you and to everyone who's been affected by the coronavirus, COVID-19. We should see an end to this soon, and hopefully the borders of Eretz Yisrael should open up again. And we should all see you soon one day, make Aliyah, to be able to move here, to make it your permanent home. And until then, that hopefully, God willing, you'll be able to visit again soon. Thank you.